Hey now, PGH Comic Expert here, going through Longbox Collection number 1. Just mainly, this is going to be my DC and Alan Moore brand titles. I kind of associated those with the DC box just because of how much work he's actually done for DC, since he doesn't really like Marvel, at least so it is said. So starting off, this is actually a future DC character. This is Captain Atom number 83. This is the Modern Comics reprint. Still a nice book. I haven't really been able to find an affordable copy of the Charlton Comics ones, the 12-cent version. This is reprinting the first appearance of the Blue Beetle, well, Ted Kord as the Blue Beetle. So as you can see, the difference is the price tag is 35 cents and the original price tag for this is 12. Still a nice book though, still like it. Next one is the second appearance of Ted Kord as the Blue Beetle, and that would be Captain Atom number 84. Also a reprint. Alright, kicking off with Miracle Man. We do have Miracle Man number 1. This is just the regular version of Miracle Man, nothing special about it, not the gold or the blue or the UK edition. I do actually have 2 copies of this one. This one's actually a little bit of a higher grade. Not a lot of value in that book because it is reprinting the Warrior mags that I've shown in my previous video. But to keep going on, we've got number 2, The Return of Johnny Bates as Kid Miracle Man. Number 3, 4, 5, 6, sorry for the glare, 7, 8, and this is 8 as the Eclipse Archive Edition. Now, what is so special about this one? If I could get rid of this glare, it would be great. So what is so special about this one is that there is this comics store conglomerate in Pittsburgh called New Dimensions, and they have done what is called manufacturing a collectible here. So this blue archive edition really wasn't an Eclipse archive edition. It was uncirculated stock that had been sitting in inventory that somehow they managed to get a hold of a sketch from John Totalben, a never before seen sketch, and then they sent these away to get hot stamped with these foil stamps in different colors, and then they provided COAs to go along with them. I don't have a COA. I found this one at Half Price Books. I have the gold one too, but it's for sale, so I won't be showing it in this box. Not a lot of value here. I mean, it's a nice thing to have, but I wouldn't go rushing out to try and find these unless you just want to keep giving New Dimensions more money. Nine. This is the graphic childbirth issue. 10. 11. Some of John Totalben's greatest covers, by the way. 12. 13. 14. And 16. Wondering where that number 15 is, huh? Well, that's actually in a different video. I keep the number 15s put away just because of how low of a print run they were, and they kind of classify something different in regards to this book. This one here, number 16, this is actually the last Alan Moore book on the title. 17, first Neil Gaiman. 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, end of the Golden Age. Now these ones are the harder to find ones. That is 23. That is the Barry Windsor Smith cover. Barry Windsor Smith drew Conan books for Marvel. And 24. That is the final issue of the Eclipse run before Eclipse went bankrupt. So rumor has it that Neil Gaiman had completed the story, but because of Eclipse going bankrupt, they never got to actually finish publication. Rumor has it that it's going to be finished with Marvel reprints. Okay. Speaking of Neil Gaiman, that is Sandman number 4, first appearance of Lucifer Morningstar. And then let's get into more Alan Moore, no pun intended. This is actually the entire run of V for Vendetta. If I could keep my backdrop from falling over. I'll just focus on number 1 here. So, found those all at Wizard World, Ohio. Alright, continuing on with Alan Moore. We have some Alan Moore Superman. This is actually a 2-part. I believe this is a Perez cover. This is Whatever Happened to the Man of Tomorrow. So that is the last issue of Superman Volume 1, I believe. That's issue 423. And that is Action Comics 583, which is the conclusion of the Alan Moore story. And just to add to more Alan Moore Superman, DC Comics presents number 85 with Alan Moore writing the story there with Superman and Swamp Thing. Okay. Sticking in the true macabre fashion, we've got Hellblazer 1 and 2. That's the first solo Constantine story, and that's also the first full appearance of Papa Midnight. And then here we go with, I do have the original copy of this, but show the reprint anyway. House of Secrets 92, first appearance of Swamp Thing. The original copy is going to be on a different video. Then we've got some of my favorite books. Got Swamp Thing number 1. Pretty nice shape. It was graded at VG when I bought it. Have another Swamp Thing number 1. That's actually the retelling of the story of Dr. Alec Holland becoming the Swamp Thing, and it is the first cameo appearance of Dr. Anton Arcane. So we've got Swamp Thing number 2, first cameo of the Patchwork Man, first full appearance of Arcane and his Unmen. Swamp Thing number 3, that is the first full Patchwork Man. Number 7, it's actually the first meeting of Swamp Thing and Batman. And we have number 9. I love that artwork, that Bernie Wrightson artwork. And number 10. Number 10 is actually the last Wrightson and Wine Swamp Thing. Okay, moving along. Now we're back to Alan Moore. Got Saga of the Swamp Thing number 21. That is volume 2, and that is Alan Moore's second issue. And in this one here, he actually retells the origin, changing Swamp Thing around a ton from the original origin. It's actually quite interesting. Number 25. That is the first cameo appearance of John Constantine. I do have the first appearance slabbed. It was in my previous video. Number 38. That is the second John Constantine. I literally paid $1 for that book. That is a minor key, but it is a good key to have. Really hard to go wrong with any Alan Moore Swamp Thing. Number 50. This is the first unofficial appearance of the Justice League Dark. As you can see, there's Spectre, the Demon, Swamp Thing, Dr. Fate, Deadman. That is being tagged on eBay as the first appearance of the Justice League Dark. And then Swamp Thing 64, that's actually Alan Moore's last issue on Saga of the Swamp Thing. Okay, last but not least, Alan Moore. How can I talk about him without bringing up The Killing Joke? That is the first print, and that is a mint copy. Okay. I'm going to show these briefly. That is the full run of Ronin by Frank Miller. All 6 issues. And then while on the topic of Frank Miller, we're going to show you year 1 from Batman. Basically the origin retold. Pretty good story. Okay. Just some random keys. Millennium edition of Brave and the Bold 28. That is the first appearance of the Justice League of America. Not going to be able to afford the original copy of that anytime soon. Firestorm the Nuclear Man number 1. That's the first appearance of Ronnie Raymond as Firestorm. Alright, we've got DC First Issue Special number 8, the first appearance of the Warlord, and now in his own magazine, Warlord number 1. DC's shot at, similar to Conan, it was a Mike Grell creation. Okay, just a couple more here before I get into some Jack Kirby stuff. Joker number 1, Thought that was a great book. Couldn't really pass that up for the price. Shadow #1. It's the first time the Shadow has ever appeared in DC Comics. And Adventure Comics #431. That is actually the first Bronze Age appearance of the Spectre. Alright, now I'm diving into some Jack Kirby Fourth World. So let's start the Fourth World with the title that actually kicked it off. Jimmy Olsen, yes, you heard that correctly. Superman's apparently ex-pal, Jimmy Olsen, #133. This is the first appearance of Jack Kirby in DC Comics and the first appearance of the Fourth World, which is Kirby's story. Okay? So keeping that in mind, Fourth World spanned across a few titles. New Gods, Mr. Miracle, Jimmy Olsen, and the Forever People. So, we've got Mr. Miracle #1. Not a fan of the condition of that one. I would like to upgrade. We got Jimmy Olsen #134. That is the first appearance of Darkseid. Yes, he first appeared in Jimmy Olsen. One panel. Not a fan of the condition of this one either. I would like to find it in better shape. The spine is really what irks me on that one. Jimmy Olsen 135. Would like to find a copy that's a little bit less yellow. #143. That's a classic Neil Adams cover. And let's see. Then we've got the first full appearance of Darkseid, which is the Forever People #1. I would love to find a bone white copy of this one. Alright, continuing on. Looking for the original of this one, but I'll show you the reprint for now. The Millennium Edition of New Gods #1. Here is New Gods #2. This is actually, according to the sticker here, this is the first and only Darkseid cover of the Bronze Age. Yeah, there he is. Darkseid, Desaad. That one's actually in pretty nice shape. Ryan getting his ass kicked as usual. Got a few other New Gods in here. But I'm not going to show them. I am going to show... I did reprint the New Gods in the Copper Age. So there is #1. This is all Jack Kirby artwork here, as you can see down in the Darkseid's arm. And this actually reprinted the original New Gods story. Now the interesting one out of this title, now this was a proxy bid auction, I got it for $10, all of the books. And the only reason I even went for it is because Neil Adams, who I'm really not a fan of personally, was, although I do like his artwork, was on Comic Book Men and said that he was doing New Gods again. DC had asked him to reboot it. So this one here, this is actually, up until this point, a never before seen or read ending of the New Gods. So Kirby had actually written a new ending for the New Gods story, and it was published in '84. So if you're looking for these books, you could probably find them pretty cheap. I know I got them I mentioned a local pop culture store. It's actually called Pop Culture Connection in Greensburg, PA. Jeremy Fairgrieve is the owner out there, and he actually had these up for auction on his proxy bid site, proxybid.com, and nobody bid on them. I just laid down the minimum bid and ended up getting all of these books you see here, including that never before seen issue, for $10. Alright. Continuing on with DC, I kind of lump this in with Fourth World because it is Dark Side. But we've got Legends #1, that's the first Amanda Waller. Got 2 copies of that. Newsstand and the original. The original, or the direct edition, has the mask insert. You've got 2. Here's actually the important one. This is the first modern appearance of the Suicide Squad. The ones that are appearing in the movie, minus Harley Quinn, of course. And then we've got the other 3 issues along on the title. Okay, that kind of sums up my Kirby. I'm going to show off a few more issues out of this long box, and then I'm going to call it a day. So we're going to start with some Western books. I had made a comment in a video that I had yet to be published that I love the DC Westerns. So, in that fashion, and we did mention Suicide Squad, El Diablo Volume 3, Number 1. That is the El Diablo that is appearing in the new Suicide Squad movie, and that's his first appearance. Okay. It is my goal to get all 11 of these at some point. I'll just start with the ones that I have. This is All-Star Western Volume 2, Number 2. That is the first appearance of the original El Diablo. You can see him down there in the corner. Number 3. Number 4. Number 5. Number 6. And number 7. So those are the last ones I have in continuity. I'm missing number 1, 8, and 9. That being said, here is the reprint of number 10. I do have the original, but it's not in this video. Number 11, that's the second appearance of Jonah Hex. That's the first appearance of Jonah Hex. And that's also the last issue of All-Star Western, number 11, before they renamed it to Weird Western Tales. So Weird Western Tales picks up at number 12. That's a Neil Adams cover. And this is where Jonah Hex's story continues. I mentioned in one of my previous videos that hasn't, well, it's the video that hasn't been published yet because it's my vault, I'm saving that one, that I have a colleague in Omaha who I work with, and when I visit there once a year, we go and visit the comic shops, and I picked up some books there. Well, his exact words when I told him I landed a copy of All-Star Western number 10 was, "Who the hell cares?" So this is for him, Robert. You make fun of me for liking Jonah Hex? Well, too bad. So there is Jonah Hex number 1. It's actually a pretty nice copy. Bought that one at a comic shop I had recently discovered out in Latrobe, PA. Newsstand edition. Nice tight binding. And Jonah Hex number 48, classic cover. Alright. That is all of my Westerns I'm going to show you. Actually, no. No, I'm going to show you a couple more. I did pick up, tried to get a good piece of the run of the New 52 All-Star Western #1, but since I'm the only one who actually reads the book, they canceled it at issue 34. Okay, now on to some Batman. Just want to show off a handful of Batman books. Neil Adams cover, Batman #230. Thought this was interesting, that those men strangely resemble the Black Panthers. Detective Comics #1, New 52. This is the one where the Joker cuts his face off. Batman #1, New 52, first print. It's a tough to find book at an affordable price. Got that at Wizard World, Ohio. Batman #13, first print, Death in the Family Part 1. Batman #423. I believe that's Jim Starlin's writing and Dave Cockrum's art, and that cover is actually a McFarlane. Okay, sticking with Batman. All 4 issues of Death of the Family. All 4 issues of Year 2 from Detective Comics. Those are McFarlane covers too, at least the last 3. And here's an interesting one. Batman #635. That is the first appearance of Jason Todd as the Red Hood. And the cover, if I could get it to stand, is paying homage to the Joker as the Red Hood. And my backing board is epic fail today. Don't quite have that full story. But I do have the 2 reveal books. And the annual, with great cover of him holding Jason Todd as the Red Hood as opposed to him being Robin. Okay. Shadow of the Bat #1. First appearance of Zaz. Probably know him from the Gotham show. More epic fail on my backing board today. And last but not least, nothing super special about this one except maybe that it's a split cover. That is actually The Breaking of the Batman. I bought that at this comic shop the day it came out, and it's never been opened ever since. That's when Bane decides he's going to just wreck Batman. I actually have a whole run of that Nightfall, but I'm not only going to show the one. Alright folks, look forward to the comments. That's my DC/Eclipse, mostly Eclipse, long box collection. I have many more to go, but this is just a start, so I appreciate the feedback. I'm new to this. Anything that you can tell me to liven up these videos or make them a little bit more interesting is much appreciated. Just try to be polite, or direct in the comments. No need to be a jerk or anything. Alright, thanks.